Hey guys. Okay, now somebody requested that I make a video elaborating on my one video on self-image, and they wanted to know a little more about why we choose the bodies we choose when we incarnate. I had to really ruminate on that because there's so much that goes into it. I mean, I really suggest having a birth chart done and doing numerology. Those can really help you in understanding what your soul wanted and what is, your life path and some things to expect on your journey. But that's a really hard question to answer. And I think it's not necessarily we choose every single thing of our physical body. Like, I mean, because I have a Cancer rising, and your rising sign is your physical, what you are to the world. So I have Cancerian features, and I look a lot like my mom. My mom is also a Cancer rising, so that kind of makes sense. But that doesn't necessarily go down to every single physical thing about you. I think a lot more of it is your personality and what shapes you. When we come into this world, our soul chooses certain circumstances that we live through. We have free will, so it is up to us to choose where we want to go with that. Now, circumstances can affect your physical body. So your soul can choose certain instances, like having some kind of birth defect or deformity, or, your house burns down and you have burns. Why would your soul choose these things? Physical beauty has changed throughout the centuries. Like, I think it was Persian, like hundreds of years ago, their definition of beauty, like the most beautiful woman at that time had a unibrow. They thought that was the most beautiful woman. By today's standards, would not be considered beautiful. So it kind of depends on when you incarnate. But physical attractiveness does affect your life. Like movie stars and, the people we consider beautiful, sorry to say, do have it a lot easier than people that aren't considered attractive or considered, deformed in some way. They get different attention. So your soul needs to learn lessons through that physical aura, being, body, but it's not all about the physical, but that shapes you. See, someone that's average, they blend in. Like, I don't like to be noticed, so being average, I can just go behind the scenes. I'm not noticed too much. That works for me, and that is part of, what my soul chose, because I don't want to stand out. I don't want to be the focus, but some people, some souls choose to want to be the focus. But what lessons do they learn from that? You can take that positive or negative. Does your soul want to learn ego? Does it want to learn to just survive in the ego? Or does it want to learn to survive with what's inside? I really want to, I don't, not everybody will know who Andre the Giant is, but he was like an 80s actor, and he had a birth defect or whatever where he kept growing all throughout his life. He kept growing, so he was a huge guy. And when I see him, images of him, I see a gentle soul, but his physical appearance is very intimidating. So what would a gentle soul want to learn by being a huge person that most people are afraid of? Like, the guy was really huge, really intimidating. There's like a duality in having gentleness, but because of your physical appearance, you have to alter your life because of that. You have to learn certain lessons because of that, because of what you look like. And what way does your soul want you to go with that? I mean, we do have free will. We get to choose what we want to do with that, but when you're doing what your soul wants you to do, you're more happy. You usually think that famous people are happy when I don't think most of them are, because of all the judgment they get on their appearance, because of everybody, paparazzi and everybody just invading their privacy. But they also have talents, so they're, using their talents. But because of physical appearance, that's affecting the path. So how do you find abundance? How do you gauge wealth? Your soul wants to learn lessons, and are you going to gauge wealth on money and on beauty and physical things, or are you going to gauge it on growth and family and, doing good and helping people, and not on vanity? But I think who you are inside is a lot more important than who you are on the outside. But who you are on the outside does affect who you are on the inside. Like, the soul these days, being born into different races would learn different lessons than souls, in the past. Like, I hate the political correctness of saying the different races, African American, Asian American, or whatever in this country, and white is just white. We don't really say Irish American or, Polish American. White is just white. So I think this political correctness of calling different races except for white, whatever American, is creating more separation. We're all just fucking American because except for, the Indians, none of us are fucking from here. So, anyways, not getting into politics, but being a certain race learns different lessons than other races. And things are changing, but there's still a lot of oppression and separation and hate, and your soul chose to learn those lessons. It's up to you with what you're going to do with it. Like, you can take that oppression and you can be filled with anger and hate, or you can take that oppression and you can change it. You can do something with it. And it's up to free will with what you do with it. It is your soul chooses what circumstances you're born into. And are you going to listen to your soul, or are you going to listen to your ego? Life is a lot harder when you listen to your ego. Some people, like me, are late bloomers. We learn a little late, but I think my soul chose to have a lot of pain so that I could overcome it, so that I could help other people. You can't really help shit until you help yourself. So some people have an easier life, some people don't, but it's up to you with what you do with that. And trusting in your soul's journey. A lot of people don't believe in, the spiritual aspects. But if you really look at like quantum physics and quantum mechanics and all that, that is spirituality in science. It's just that people still don't want to make that connection. And I don't know. Are you going to listen to your ego? Or are you going to listen to your soul? Your soul wanted to come here to learn. Earth is the hardest place to incarnate because there is so much pain. But you don't learn without pain. That's the human condition. We do not learn, grow, or change without pain. It sucks, but it works. I know my soul is really fucking old. And I have some memories of some lives, and a lot of those lives have had a lot of fucking pain. But I've grown from it. And in this life, I've grown from it. I understand that pain. So I don't know if this answered your question. I kind of went all over the place with that, but if that made sense. Anyways, I hate the full moon, you guys. That week leading up to it sucked, but I love you. The universe loves you. Have a good night.